waist and head strapped.
Sandbags parched with blood.
5 .30 caliber rifles pointed at your heart. How does this sound?
No matter how horrible the criminal is, we as a society have to take matter in humane ways. No death penalty should involve piercing one's heart by firing squad.
Death by firing squad is the most inhumane form of capital punishment, and it should not be legalized in the state of Georgia because of the way it inherently devalues human life.
We will explain how horrendous this idea is by detailing its shortfalls, from the excruciating pain to the victim to the way it democratizes violence in an inhumane way. Blood does not have to be spilled to be effective.
Although lethal injection may take a while, death by firing squad is not as simple and precise as you may think.
In Utah in 1966, a man was killed by firing squad, and witnesses saw after the shots his chest heaved up and there was continuous squeezing in his hands. This is representative of, this person isn't going through this painlessly. He's feeling something.
Hey, Monsieur, have you ever played darts before? Well, Monsieur, what do you think is easier? To have 5 people throwing darts at a dartboard? Well, it's actually only 4. 4 of them are throwing darts while one of them is just pretending to throw a dart. Or just to walk up to the dartboard and put a dart in the bowl. Obviously, it is much easier to do the latter.
Yes.
Even if those are expert dart throwers, even if they miss just a little bit, it causes much unnecessary and excruciating pain.
And another, an alternative to the lethal injection is representative of just putting the dart into the bullseye. Lethal injection, it's a clinical procedure that has been widely accepted, and yes, it's clean, it's clinical, and it does take time for different people, but there's a reason for that.
The average time it takes for lethal injection to occur is between 7 and 11 minutes, according to the capital punishment protocol. However, it only takes 30 seconds for the dosage to actually stop the heart, while the other remaining minutes are used in preparation and confirmation of the capital punishment.
When you go to the dentist, you would rather them take their time to pull out a tooth than put you to sleep and then rip it out. It's less damaging, it's more clinical, and it's more humane.
Death by firing squad causes rampant pain, while lethal injection still causes death, but in a quiet and humane manner.
The inmate isn't the only one affected by the firing squad method, because the executioners themselves also suffer from impact. This is because the firing squad method democratizes violence. You might say that somebody has to do it, but that method brings 5 shooters into the situation, not to mention a doctor to locate the heart and another person to strap them to a chair.
By bringing more people into this process, you inherently spread the burden of murder amongst all the people involved in this form of capital punishment.
According to mental health researchers Gill, Johnson, and Johnson, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual defines that secondary post-traumatic disorder is something people suffer after witnessing a traumatic event like death. The severity actually increases if that death or traumatic event involves human. So this means that death by firing squad method poses risks to the executioners themselves.
Let me just give you guys a quick visual of what it means to have death by firing squad. Here you see one victim, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 shooters involved in the form of capital punishment. That brings 5 people at least into this act, and they have to deal with hands that are forever stained with the act of committing.
So instead of bringing several people into the act, one doctor to administer an injection is better, as it minimizes the impact for both the inmate and the executioners.
And even though doctors have taken a do no harm oath, many physicians have said that they see it as a social responsibility to be able to put these inmates to death. Neil Farber, a professor of medicine at UC San Diego, took a survey that showed that over 40% of physicians would be willing to administer capital punishment if necessary.
According to Death Penalty Focus, it's an organization that promotes alternatives to death penalty. The subject is unconscious before given the injection. So it's, to an executioner, it's psychologically less traumatic to administer injection to an unconscious person instead of directly shooting at them, which is more like a murder.
So instead of bringing more people into this process, why wouldn't we just use one doctor that is completely willing to put someone to death, therefore not extending the burden of murder amongst innocent people?
You see, death penalties follow a very strict timeline here in the United States. Hanging was abolished in 1890. Electrocution was created in 1988, then phased out with the gas chamber in 1924. Then came the firing squad in 1945, and then lethal injection started in 1977. And we still use them for today. So Ben, why don't you tell us why lethal injections work?
Death by firing squad creates a tragic and gory scene, causing not only physical pain to the executionee, but also mental suffering to not only the shooters, but to the families of the convicted, and leaves a sour taste of the government in the citizens' mouths, which violates the 8th Amendment because of its cruel nature.
In the firing squad method, were to come back in the United States by a U.S. legislator, they would essentially contradict themselves. So you see, we have this thing called a Constitution, wherein lies the 8th Amendment, where it says it prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. Now, sandbags and, gun barrels shooting at your heart doesn't seem very not cruel in this case.
Recently, I noticed that Hannah broke her phone. So the other day, Hannah decided to shoplift from the Apple store, and she stole an iPhone 6. Well, the other day, she got by the police, and in a quick trial, she was given 500 lashes and 2 years in a Siberian labor camp.
It was brutal.
Now, you tell me, does that punishment fit her crime of stealing a simple iPhone 6? Death by firing squad indulges too much in physical pain rather than punishment in a humane way.
So moving from man to animal, we see a correlation between the two that really shows the inhumane ways of the corrupt firing squad.
Well, when I was growing up, I had this dog named Spring. Now, when I was young, Spring got throat cancer, so my dad decided to put her down in a humane way. So that night, he drove to a pawn shop, bought a .44 Magnum, and then shot my dog 4 times in the backyard. Now, of course, that doesn't happen, but that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? How in the world, then, is it humane to shoot people like this and say that's not cruel and unnatural? We, as people, although these horrible criminals did a disgusting act, our nation, which is based off the Aristotelian virtues of justice and wisdom, should be the better people in this situation and give a fitting and humane punishment.
You see, a similar thing happened just as Ben's dog. The Humane Society in Utah, which is actually very shocking because Munster just talked about how firing squad just came back to Utah. Now, it's very shocking because they started shooting at a dog, or police found a dog that was shot in the back of the head like 3 times. and there's actually a bounty out for the person that shot them. Now, it makes no sense.
All right. Quick vote. Not the groups that just went. If you are in favor of death by firing squad, hand in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you are opposed to death by firing squad, hands in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tim, I thought you didn't vote the first time? So we're tied, because either way, if Tim's undecided, we're tied. Did anybody change their mind based on the speeches? Nope. Because persuasion is useless. That's not your fault. That's just how persuasion works. All right. Oh, I don't doubt it works. It was just a matter of like carrying it around if that was annoying.
Oh, I thought that's what the whole point of having a clicker was.
It is, but sometimes the mouse, because it's like rolly, it like moves around, so you can't just click on a mouse the way you can on a clicker.
No, you really just hit the button.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Good to know. All right. Okay. Keep it moving because we're running real tight on time here, so we have no room for hesitation. So the mouse apparently does work as a clicker.